Hello chess friends and welcome to Yazarov Chess channel and welcome to another amazing game that I think could be useful in your home preparation against e4. Welcome to a spectacular game played by Alexandra against Stockfish in a crazy burn variation of the French defense. And I think this game is very important because we'll see here very new ideas, new opportunities for both sides in the burn variation of the French defense, with very progressive middle game ideas, with also ideas where to first of all castle, because in the burn variation sometimes you're left with a double pawn structure on the f file. It's very unpleasant then to play with your king somewhere. So I think very instructive game, but as usual we'll see again immortal tactics performed by the strongest engine in the world by Stockfish 16. So let's dive now into the game with the white pieces. Here Alexandra open with the move e4. We have e6 by the French defense. We have d4 d5, knight to c3, Paulson variation, knight to f6, and after bishop to g5 we have now the burn variation of the French defense. A Stockfish takes in the center. We have knight takes e4. Now there is a tension here around the square f6, so that's why Stockfish covers. And now the main line is here bishop to f6. If you play bishop to f6, of course white will not recapture this piece here. Will simply stay with this powerful knight in the center, will simply develop and will have, I think, a great attacking chances on light score. So that's why g takes f6 is here, I think, the most progressive plan, with the opportunity to hit the g file, with the opportunity to hit the f5, with the opportunity somehow to get use of your beautiful bishop here in the middle game stage. After g takes f6, we have bishop to c4, normal development, and now knight to d7. What should you do? Breaking and entering here immediately is not so powerful because of knight to e5, so that's why first knight to f3 played by the Alexandra chess engine. And now we have f5, we have knight to c3, and now c6. Very important move here by Stockfish, not allowing this progressive move by black, the move d5. But okay, this move c6 is so far a good defensive move, but it makes, of course, this life of the light square bishop much harder. Notice many pawns are on light square, so it's not like black is having here the monster bishop pair. Black has to be very careful what you do, and of course here try to somehow get finally the light square bishop into the game. So after a4 we have reached now a certain theoretical novelty, a completely new move introduced to us here by Alexandra. Very also nice idea, and when you think about it harder, this move makes really sense, because this move of course prevents b5, but also makes a potential attack on the queen side much easier. And as I said in the beginning of the video, it's not clear where black should stay with the king. Maybe black should stay with in the center, maybe black should castle king side, maybe black should castle queen side. So castle and queen side is king side, pardon me, is already messy because you have already many structural weaknesses here. So very good move, I would say, by Alexandra, because Alexandra anticipates the possibility of black to castle queen side, and then you want to be already there, you want to have already progressive attacking chances on this side of the board. After a4, rook to g8, we have now king side castling, knight to f6, rook to e1, and now queen to c7. Stockfish finally prepares now queen side castling, knight to e5, knight to g4. We have knight takes, rook takes, and after bishop to e2, hitting the rook drops back here to g2, and here still Stockfish at least continues with his attacking chances here. On the g file, we have a5, bishop to d7, bishop to f3. Look how Alexandra is really playing in a good way, simply wants to make progress and wants, of course, now to play the move a6. a6 by black wouldn't be so good, of course, because then you're leaving yourself many holes in the position. Knight to c5 could happen, knight to b6. You could have very dark square problems on the board. So that's why for bishop to f3, queenside castling by the fish, and now Alexandria continues with the move a6, forces now a reaction by black, and of course Stockfish plays now first of all the move b6, which makes here the life again a little bit harder around the square c6. There is now, I think, a certain attacking point for white. White will try to do something here simply around the square. We have rook to e3, king to g8, improving the position of the king, and now queen to e2, simply also including now also this other rook into the game. Bishop to g5, hitting the rook to d3, f6 by the fish, preparing also in some lines e5 if possible, rook from a to d1, and now a very interesting move here by the fish, h5. This is now this common opposite side attack game, as I mentioned many times in my videos. When we have this opposite side attack game where we have the kings on opposite sides, you don't count material, you just are trying to split the pawns in front of your opponent's king, and if you take here bishop to h5, then rook to h7 is going to happen. If you move, of course, the bishop, then you're losing the battle here. You could also maybe try here to move g3 because your bishop is not vulnerable so far. It's so far protected by the queen, but after potential rook to h8 and you retreat to f3, then you lose still this h2 pawn. So that's why okay, maybe playable here for white, but unpleasant, of course, to handle this attacking chances on the h file. So that's why for h5 we have h4 here by Alexandria, bishop to h4, and now after rook to e3, you see Alexandria temporarily sacrifice the pawn just in order somehow also to lock the h file, to not allow here some attacking chances. Basically now the h pawn is standing in the way of its own pawn. After bishop to e3, rook to e3, pardon me, queen to f4, Stockfish is sneaking in. Alexandria goes with rook from e to d3, and now after bishop to c8, now the real fun starts. Alexandria deflected this bishop now far away from the action. The bishop is not attacking anymore the rook, so Alexandria came up with this idea, with this progressive plan, with the move d5 immediately splitting, as I said, the pawn chain in front of black's king. And that's also in the spirit of opposite side attack games. You just sacrifice something just in order somehow to make this king more vulnerable. Here on g8 we have e takes d5, rook to d4, hitting the queen drops back. There is now again an attacking chance on the g file, but now knight to a2, going simply for the weak c6 pawn, the hole that we have talked about also in this video so far. Now Alexander is trying knight to b4 and then knight to c6. We have bishop to d7. Stockfish is covering so far everything, but now of course c4. Look how Alexander is also attacking. When I analyzed the game at home, I was very surprised how Alexander played such an aggressive game against the big fish. After c4 we have rook to e8, first of all kicking away the queen drops back, and now f4. And this move is very important. In the beginning it seemed to me, okay, why should you push the pawn? Why don't you, I don't know, do something here on this side of the board? f4 is actually a great preparation to play a stunning move, bishop to g3. After f takes g3 and f takes g3, you could have some attacking chances here on this side of the board. You could have even some checkmate threats here on the king side. Very nice idea, I would say, here by Stockfish. And that's exactly what happened. After knight to b4 hitting the pawn, Stockfish goes immediately with this idea, bishop to g3. Let's see now options. If, for instance, white would have taken this bishop. So Alexandra didn't take out the bishop on g3, played something else. But let's see now. After f takes g3, you play f takes g3, and you notice now there is a very interesting idea here for white to even deliver check on e3. So that's why maybe white should try something like queen to d3, but then rook from g to e7. White would simply lose the battle on the e file. After something like rook to f1, you just improve the position of the king, and now after something like c takes d5, actually you can go even with c5. So you see, you will get your eventually your pawn back. Maybe after something like d6, this rook will come into the game. You're trying maybe rook to c4, not allow here black to take out the knight, but then look at this b5, you're attacking the queen, and the queen is controlling the d5 square. Both pieces are hanging. The queen is also protecting this one. Maybe rook to c3, then you takes, and now the queen is coming. Very messy position here for white. You could maybe try here rook to c5. That's actually a line that the Stockfish engine is analyzing now. What would have happened if this bishop would have been taken? But then look at this, king to d8, no good checks are possible. Knight to c6, bishop takes, and now in this sequence you simply get the queen out. And again here, well, here actually white should be much worse, because here black has immediately the opportunity to play queen to f4. You cannot take, of course, because of the pin on the f file. Rook is coming, and basically this pawn is standing in the way. So in this sequence, actually white's king is much more worse. And you look at this, there's also the problem of queen to c1, so not a good continuation here for white. So instead of this move queen to d3 in the beginning, let's see maybe some other options. Maybe you don't want to play this one. Maybe you're trying, I don't know, to play something like let's go here, c takes d5. You want to open the position immediately instead of queen to d3. Then this one is going to happen. If you step back then with the rook, then the rook is not covering anymore the fourth rank, and there is a checkmate problem here on h2. Very, very intense idea here by Stockfish, this move, bishop to g3. After bishop to g3, rook to e1, played by Alexandra. Stockfish goes with the rook on a beautiful square. Knight to d3, attacking now the rook. And now Stockfish plays another brilliant move, a rook from g to e7, temporarily sacrificing the rook. What is going to happen, for instance, if white would have taken here this rook on e5? If you do that, then this one is coming. F takes e5. Again, you step back and look at this. You're getting destroyed. You can maybe take out this one, but you're not going to escape from this checkmate threat here on the second and maybe then afterwards on the first rank. Really crazy stuff here by the fish. So Stockfish leaves now the rook hanging sort of here on e5. Alexandra is not falling for this, plays now c takes d5, and now another brilliant move here by the fish, bishop to g4. And that's, I think, the hardest move to see here. This move is actually so important defensively because you're trying to get rid of the key attacker of whites, and it's actually the bishop on f3. Look how this bishop is targeting this whole diagonal, especially around the square c6. Now Stockfish gets the piece back into the game and finally will eventually get rid of this. As I said, very, very unpleasant bishop on f3. What should you do? If you try here, instead of this move, bishop to g4, rook to e1, then rook to queen, knight takes e1 is going to happen. So again, white doesn't have to take the bishop on g3, or you're trying maybe something like queen to h4, then f takes g3 can actually happen, and now white has defensive resources with rook to h4. That's the issue. So you cannot take. You have to first of all get rid of this rook from the first rank in order to make this move queen to h4 really happen. So that's why bishop to g4, great move here by the fish. We have rook to e5, f takes e5, we have f takes g3, e takes d4, hitting the rook. We have now g takes f4, kicking away the queen. This is now sort of forced tactical sequence, and now knight to b4. Again, Alexandra is going now for the c6 pawn. Again, Alexandra is hitting simply the main weakness that we have talked about also in the beginning of the game. C takes d5 by the fish. The queen comes back into the game. Look at this. There's now a huge problem here for Stockfish to handle. But now rook to c7, protecting now the c6 square, and now comes queen to d5, simply trying even deliver checkmate. But now comes this idea, the very beautiful defensive idea here by Stockfish, bishop to g4. Very, very important move now. Stockfish, as I said, gets rid of the key attacker of whites, and from this point on, I think the game is, I would dare to say, even over here for white. Let's see now what happened. Queen to f3, queen to e6, getting the queen into the game. We have king to h2, improvement of the piece, and now Stockfish is, of course, trying to simplify the game by trading off the queens. Knight to c6 is coming, but now a beautiful move, king to a8. You don't have such a great discovered attack because the queens will be simply off the board. So that's why queen to h5, played by Alexandra. Actually, you cannot take here this piece because you get a background checkmate. So that's the issue. You cannot take out the piece so far. That's why for queen to h5, we have queen to f4 first by the fish. We have king to h3. And again, rook to c6 is not working because of queen to e8 checkmate here. On the back rank, you can just cover. You can maybe here, maybe even cover with your queen, but then we take out this one. If you try to maybe cover first with the rook, then again we take out this one, and after something like this, you can again play queen to c6 again. The game should be over here for black. So that's why after king to h3, Stockfish kept it calm. Another check, a new check, and now simply covering now the back rank. Now we have knight to d4, knight takes d4 here by Alexandra. Again, you cannot take because of this problem. Queen to f3, again with the same pattern, king to b8, and then queen to b7. An amazing checkmate. So that's why after knight to d4, Stockfish simply covers now the diagonal here, and now queen to f3. Alexandria went for the trade of pieces. Maybe here knight to f3 should be better, try to complicate things, but Alexandria played queen to f3. Stockfish accepts the challenge, goes simply for this pawn, and now again attack the pawn, and after something like here rook to a3 in this particular position, Alexandria resigned. There's nothing that can be done. We can take out this one, and of course we'll cover with the rook somehow here this pawn. King is close enough, I think, to catch it, and then we push slowly this pawn's. Game over, of course, here for white. So An amazing game, I would say, in the burn variation of the French defense. Very interesting stuff, because if you're a French defense player, probably you will get this position many times, similar positions. I think we have seen here really very important strategic ideas of this variation, but also very cool tactics in the middle game stage. Again, a brilliant game played by the strongest engine in the world, by Stockfish 16. So, okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. If you want to see more beautiful, sharp, brutal, really tactical AI chess like this, check out our Come to Chess Games Played by Computer series. Here's the link of our playlist, and if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.